Brilliance Audio. The Taste of Ginger by Mansi Shah. Performed by Soneela Nankani. 1. A gaggle of women, all speaking over each other in loud, animated voices, filled my parents' small living room. It was like watching a National Geographic special about social dominance, where pitch and decibel level determined the leader. They wandered around the room, grazing on homemade samosas and pakoras, careful not to get oily crumbs on the delicate fabric of their brightly colored saris. I was sitting at the dining table near the front door, so I could fulfill my assigned duty of greeting the guests as they arrived for my sister-in-law's baby shower. From across the room, I heard snippets of conversation from my mother's friends. "Did you hear her son dropped out of medical school to be with that American girl? I'm not surprised. I heard she walks like an elephant." Without knowing whom they were talking about, I sympathized with the girl. My mother had often accused me of this great atrocity, walking like an elephant. I was around 9 years old when I realized she wasn't calling me fat. She meant I wasn't demure and obedient, qualities every good Indian daughter should have. Near me, a pile of presents had amassed over the last hour, boxes wrapped in pastel paper with cute cartoon monkeys, turtles, or bunnies. They made most 30-year-old women feel one of two things: a maternal pang and the gentle tick of her biological clock, or the desire to run screaming from the room. I glanced at the front door, leaning toward the latter response, but wasn't sure if it was because of the baby paraphernalia around me or the suffocating feeling I got whenever I went back to my parents' house near Devon Avenue, Chicago's very own Little India. Across the room, my mother, dressed in an orange and gold sari that clung to her ample hips and chest, offered to bring my sister-in-law, Dipti, a plate of food. She'd been fawning over Dipti all day, telling her she needed to rest to keep the baby healthy. "You are a mother now, beta," she'd say, shooting me a look of disappointment every time she referred to Dipti being a mother. I winced inwardly at hearing the term of affection she used to call me as a child. It had been a long time since I had been beta. My mother's long hair, streaked with white, was pinned into a neat bun with dozens of bobby pins and adorned with small, fragrant jasmine flowers. It opened her face and softened her sharp features. Until yesterday, we hadn't spoken in months. Not since she found out that my boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend, and I had been living together in Los Angeles. Cohabitating with a Doria was, in her opinion, the most shameful thing her daughter could have done. Living with a white boy was right up there with marrying someone from a lower caste or talking back to your elders. It's not like I had made it my mission to disappoint her. Until then, I'd tried to convince myself that I'd end up with a caste-appropriate Indian, even though I'd never met one that I'd been attracted to. But when Alex tilted my chin to meet his blue eyes before our lips touched for that first kiss, I knew I was in trouble. It wasn't long before he became my first love, and I was convinced we were destined to be together. Until one day, we weren't. I just never imagined that I'd be the one letting him go. And so soon after I'd told my parents that if they couldn't accept Alex into their lives, it was the same as not accepting me. Timing could be a real bitch sometimes. A group of aunties who were crowded around Dipti burst into laughter. She was only 5.5 months pregnant, so I'd thought I'd have a few more weeks to mentally gear up for this trip back home. But my mother had insisted on having the shower before our family, well, everyone except me, went to India for my cousin's wedding later that week.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?